Alan. What's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, Neil, it's a beautiful day here in North Carolina, about 80 degrees. Not even playing golf today, though, just working.
All right. Title by term and invest the difference is not a good idea is our topic, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Alan, what makes you say this?
Well, first off, this was brought up by Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman and some other people that I don't think are properly educated. Neither one of those two that I know of, I know they're not certified financial fiduciaries, but 99% of the people are not going to buy term and invest the difference. What they're going to do is they're going to buy term and they're going to spend the difference. And the only other 1% that does that, they're going to invest in something they have no idea what they're investing in.
Alan, I've heard them and others say that insurance is a bad investment.
Well, this is another fallacy. Insurance is not an investment. In fact, to me, and people who are educated in the benefits of cash value life insurance and fixed indexed annuities, insurance it's bad to call insurance as an investment because insurance is an asset class all of its own. There's no other financial product out there like cash value life insurance that can grow tax deferred, possibly be tax deductible if set up right in a proper cash benefit plan. But cash deductible, tax deferred, or excuse me, tax deductible, tax deferred, and you get your distributions tax free. It does not affect the taxation of Social Security or the means testing for Medicare Part B, which will be in the thousands of dollars per year. The only other product that does that, and some people will say municipal bond or educational bond. No, the only other product that does that I know that's legal is a Roth product, whether it's a Roth 401k or a Roth IRA. But also with these insurance products, you become your own bank. Borrow from yourself, pay yourself back, eliminating the effective interest costs that you pay yourself. Pay the financial institutions because that compounds for them and not for you. And that money is gone forever. This avoids probate. It wipes out many of the risk in retirement, but it's just things that people don't know about insurance products that I found out over this last decade or more uh, that people need to be educated on, Neil.
Alan, but stock investments make a much higher return.
Well, they can in some cases, but I always ask people, especially people. I'm 71, and people my age, we can't risk investments unless we've got tremendous amount of money because you can't risk your retirement income. But here's the thing: you can have tremendous losses in the stock portfolio also. But I'm much safer in getting a 75%, possibly more return on my indexing strategies than having a 50% loss because I have a 0% loss. That's guaranteed by contract. Yeah, you may have a 50% gain, but you may have a 50% loss the next year. But let me give you a real quick scenario on average and actual returns. Let's say that you put $100,000 into the market and the next year you got 100% return, rate of return. So now that's $200,000. The following year you lost 50%. So now you're back to back to 100,000. The next year, the third year, you have a gain of 100%. So you're back to 200,000. And then the fourth year, you have a loss of 50%. You're down to 100,000. Now you average those losses and gains up. That's an average of 25%. But your actual return is zero because you're right back to where you were before. People have no idea about this. If you lose 50% in the market, it takes you 100% to gain it all back. And in 2000, I call it the lost decade. From 2000 to 2003, it was straight losses. And I pity people that were around that time and retired that time and relied on a stock portfolio or something for retirement because what's happened to them is they had sequence of returns risk, which will decimate their retirement. But the lost decade from 2000 to 2010, if you put $100,000 into it, by 2010, it was worth approximately $96,000 or 96 or 94, I can't remember. But then you have all the fees because you got to pay that fee-based advisor fee whether you make money or not. So they probably had about 80,000 some dollars. So, but that's my feeling about that, Neil.
Alan, haven't people always been told to invest in their 401k for their retirement?
Well, I've said this many times on our podcast. You know, we've been inundated by the propaganda of Wall Street and fee-based advisors to invest in your 401k because that's the best retirement plan, especially if there's a match. Well, that's far from the truth. Uh, these people are not educated to or licensed to sell life insurance, and they call themselves fiduciaries, so they're supposed to be looking out for the best interest of the clients. But understand this: 401k, a 1% fee in a 401k will reduce your income by 1/3 in a 30-year period. The average fee in a 401k by Forbes magazine and Lap Times is, I believe, it's 2.99%. Now, Neil, people are going to have less than half of their money when they go to retire, and on top of that, they're going to have taxes anywhere from 20 to over 55%, and they're not prepared for this, and they're going to be out of money.
Alan, what are some of the things we need to be aware of in retirement?
Well, many things that you need to be aware of, but it's not about rate of return in retirement. It's about distribution of your assets. And when I talk about distribution of your assets, let's say that you have $1 million in your stock portfolio, okay? At a 4% distribution rate, they used to say that was a safe distribution rate to last for 30 years. Well, now that's down to 2.8. But let's say that's at $40,000. That's not guaranteed. You'd only need approximately $650,000 in certain fixed and fixed indexed annuities to give you the same $40,000 with an increase in income, and that's paid for the rest of your life, even if that accumulation value runs out. Now, understand this, Neil. That eliminates the number one fear in retirement is running out of money before you run out of life. And the older you get, the higher the distribution rate is in these fixed and fixed indexed annuities. Now, I don't deal in variable annuities because they're tied to the market, and their fees are over 4.5% or 4.25%. So, you know, I educate people on this, and when they find out about it, well, why's my financial advisor never told me about this? Well, there's several reasons, but I can go into that when people call me want to ask me some more questions.
Alan, do you have anything else to add to today's discussion?
Well, you know, like always, the risk in retirement. Like I said, I can recall 18 off the top of my head. I mentioned a couple here: sequence returns risk, which will decimate your retirement. And I've had hundreds of clients and millionaires that have all their money in the market, and their financial advisors never told them about sequence returns risk. And basically, what it is, if you have a loss in the first 3 years of a 10 or 20-year period, as compared to a loss in the last 10 to 20 years, you're going to be out of money because in the 6th to 9th year, because what you're doing, as an example, that $40,000, you had a 10% loss. Now you're down to $900,000 minus the $40,000 you took out, minus the fees you paid that financial advisor, whether they make money or not. So now you're taking a much larger distribution. And then what if it goes down 50% like it did in 2008 in some cases? You're going to be out of money very, very soon because you're taking money out of a depleting asset. But that's one of them. And like I said, the number one fear of retirement is running out of money before you run out of life. I've already said that one. But long-term care risk. People are not prepared for this at all, Neil. Long-term care costs between $50 to $200,000 a year and goes up by 6% every year. And you get paid pennies on the dollar for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in protection with cash value life insurance that you can pay for these long-term care needs tax-free. There's not another financial vehicle out there that can do that. Not the way cash value life insurance can. You get rid of, with cash value life insurance and the Roth product, you get rid of government risk. You get rid of tax risk. There's no required minimum distribution. And I've got people that are 65 years of age and have no idea. And when I tell them if they don't take the money out, the government says by the time they reach, used to be 70 and a half, now I guess 72 to 73, depends on your age, used to be a 50% penalty plus all the taxes. Some of these people were going to have less than 5% of their money, and they had no idea. But they need to everybody just needs to become educated on these things, and they're not.
All right, Alan. Best place people can find information on you is go and email you at Strategic Wealth, the number 0 @gmail.com, or call you at 910-551-1046, or go to strategicwealthstrategies.com for more information.
Well, Neil, I want to add one more thing. And this is what I call my 30-second elevator speech. I show people how to reduce and possibly eliminate both debt and taxes. I show them how to possibly set them up with a tax-free retirement. I show them how to become their own bank, compounding interest compounding interest from themselves when they borrow from themselves and pay themselves back, and eliminating, like I said, the effective interest cost that they pay on the money they borrow. But also, as I stated, I can mitigate or eliminate the risk in retirement that a stock portfolio, real estate, bond portfolio, money market funds only compound. And one of the things I'm doing now is reducing people's health care and showing them how, with the health care benefit plan that I have for employees, it gives them approximately $1,200 extra year, every year, of extra tax-free money that they can use it any way they want, according to the tax codes. And they have a plethora of benefits, but for the employee, or excuse me, for the employer, it saves them, it's about average $500 a year in FICA tax savings on every W-2 employee. And besides that, understand this, approximately $312 billion was lost to production from people that were sick last year. People with these healthcare benefits I'm talking about had an 8% higher production rate and a 7% higher retention rate. So what that does for employers, it doesn't solve it, but it helps alleviate or lessen the revenue problems, because they're getting more revenue because of increased production and the savings of the FICA taxes. And also they got a happier and healthier employee that saves them from recruitment and retention problems. These things people need to know, especially employers. And if this interests you, please give me a call.
All right. We appreciate it, Alan. Thanks again.
You bet. Everybody have a great day.